Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And it's time for a quickie review of the new Saba album, Care For Me. Saba is a Chicago rapper who a few years ago caught my attention with his Bucket List project, which a lot of people were throwing my way. Like, this is a great project, this is a great artist, you gotta hear this, you gotta be hyped for this. He's doing something special, he's doing something different, he's doing something with depth. And while on a level I did acknowledge that, I just had a hard time clicking with the album. It just wasn't sticking with me. Sonically, aesthetically, it didn't really feel special to me or unique in any way whatsoever. Kind of drowning in his influences, in my opinion. And with this new record over here, it seemed like people were even more excited, even more hyped. The reviews I've been reading for this album have been even more rave. So this time I'm like, okay, wow, he must have really come into his own this time. This has got to be it. But now I feel like I'm just stuck in a moment of limbo once again with this artist and with a new record. I mean, certainly it's not awful. It's not a terrible album. I see the appeal behind it. But once again, I feel like Saba is drowning in his influences, almost in a way where who he's pulling from artistically is even clearer. Being a Chicago boy, obviously, there is some artistic parallels that can be drawn between him and Chance the Rapper, who is also on this record, a guy like Mick Jenkins, maybe even Isaiah Rashad, not a Chicago guy, but still, he has this kind of a deeper, more melodic, more expressive rap flow and kind of moody demeanor to his music as well, which is similar to what Saba is doing here. And there's definitely like a dab of Earl influence in a lot of his more dark and kind of deadpan rap flows on the record. So, I mean, you're gonna hear those influences super strongly on this record, to the point where it's almost like distracting to a degree, at least for me. I mean, maybe to most fans, they don't really care and it just sounds like more stuff that they like. However, not everything on this LP felt likable to me, not only because it sort of lacked any kind of distinct flavor, but some of the tracks on here I think are easily some of Saba's weakest. The track Broken Girls features these vocalizations and some lyrics that border on hilariously bad. Some of the mixing is pretty weak, especially on the track Gray, where some of the auto-tune vocals just don't really I guess, meld all that well with the instrumental, or they almost feel drowned in the instrumental. While I did like the topical direction of Prom King and how sentimental and I guess autobiographical and nostalgic the story on that track was, as soon as we get the beat switch up and we get to the second part of the track, King, it's like the sound quality of the track drops and it just sounds like a really aggressively performed SoundCloud demo with not one of Saba's better vocal performances. He sounds kind of amateurish on the mic, very suddenly. And that's another thing. He's a bit of a vocal chameleon as well, and not always to his benefit, because I think it makes it even harder to kind of grab on to what exactly this artist's sound is or what this album's direction is. Really, the most cohesive thing about this entire record is just the subtle fusions of trap production and jazz rap production, which kind of border on being somewhat interesting or unique, but it never really reaches a point of excitement or vibrance that keeps me coming back to the album. Again, certainly it's kind of cool that these worlds are coming together and that we have an artist here who is certainly trying to do something of depth. I don't deny that. I mean, his music is not shallow. He's not just trying to write shallow BS music that doesn't mean anything. But there's nothing on this record, in my opinion, that really kind of hits me emotionally or strikes me as being superbly profound or fantastically written. He strikes me as an artist who's trying to do something substantial, trying to do something mature, but I don't know, maybe the experience isn't there yet. I'm really not sure. It's exciting to know and exciting to hear that there are younger artists out there who aren't giving simply into making the dumbest, fastest, most lowest common denominator art possible. And if they stay on that path, then most likely their music will grow to be more interesting. And in the case of Saba, I hope he finds a point where he can express some sounds that feel a little bit more original or uniquely him. So those are my thoughts on it. I listened to this record, I revisited it quite a few times, just thinking this is going to be the time. This is going to be the time where it's just going to work for me and he's just going to hit me. But in my opinion, as hard as he is clearly trying, this record is just not, it's just not the total package for me. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Saba, Care For Me Forever.